Planning to own a commercial cleaning business? You might want to think twice. Not because you shouldn't do it. It's because there's a real gap between what this looks like from the outside and what it actually costs. And that gap is exactly what this video is for. The pitch is about as recession-resistant as small business gets. Offices, schools, and medical buildings all need cleaning whether the economy is up or down. Startup costs can be as low as $2,000, and the recurring contract model means revenue doesn't reset to zero every month. A huge share of this industry runs through franchises, and that's exactly where the story gets more complicated than the pitch lets on. Two of the biggest names in commercial cleaning franchising have paid a combined $49 million in legal settlements over the same repeated question. Are franchisees really independent business owners, or something closer to misclassified employees? So, what does that tension actually mean for someone considering this business today? That's what we're figuring out. One quick note before the numbers start. Every figure in this video is well-researched and checked against multiple sources, but research can still contain honest mistakes, and costs and regulations shift by state, city, and sometimes zip code. Treat these as your benchmark, not a quote for your specific situation. This video is for educational purposes only, and is not legal, tax, financial, or business advice. Always do your own research and due diligence before making any business decision. A second note, specific to this episode. Independent contractor and franchisee classification law varies significantly by state and is genuinely contested in ongoing litigation. This isn't legal advice, and nothing here should be read as a conclusion about any specific company. Consult an attorney before signing any franchise agreement. The first cost, the one with almost the widest range on this entire channel, a solo operator with a mop and a franchise territory are barely the same business. A solo independent operator can start for around $2,000, basic supplies, insurance, and a vehicle you probably already own. Franchise investment runs dramatically higher and varies widely by brand and territory size. One major national franchise's documented investment range runs roughly $14,600 to $142,750, covering the franchise fee, initial equipment, and required working capital. Some of the largest cleaning franchises operate on a multi-tier structure. A master franchisee holds the rights to an entire region and sells individual unit franchises to owner-operators underneath them, who do the actual cleaning work under the parent brand's name and systems. In exchange for that investment, franchisors typically provide an established brand, initial contracts or leads, training, billing support, and marketing. For someone with zero industry contacts, that head start is real. Independent operators skip that fee entirely, but they're building every client relationship, every bid, and every ounce of credibility from nothing. Bonding and liability insurance apply either way, independent or franchised. Cleaning crews are in someone else's building after hours, often with keys or alarm codes, and most commercial clients simply won't sign a contract without proof of both. The hidden trap, the one written into the franchise agreement itself, not the invoice, how much control a franchisor keeps over daily operations has become a genuinely contested legal question, with real money attached. Here's the pattern, and it's worth understanding regardless of which side of it you'd end up on. In several major cases, cleaning franchisees have argued that their franchisor controlled so much of the daily work, dictating cleaning procedures, controlling billing and accounting, holding the actual customer contract rather than the franchisee, that the relationship functioned more like employment, independent business ownership. Those arguments have produced real, completed settlements. One franchisor paid $3.7 million in 2019 to resolve claims from roughly 300 franchisees in Pennsylvania. The same company paid $15.35 million in a separate 2022 settlement. A different major cleaning franchisor paid $30 million in a 2024 settlement over similar claims. That's not one company having a bad year. That's a pattern that's shown up across multiple brands, multiple states, and multiple years. To be fair to the other side of this, because it's a genuinely contested question, not a settled one, plenty of current franchisees strongly disagree with the framing. Legal commentary defending the franchise model points out that many of these same franchisees run businesses generating real revenue, hire and fire their own staff, and would reject the idea that they're secretly employees. One federal appeals court noted that some of the franchisees in a major case ran businesses earning more than $40,000 a month, and pointed out that being subject to a detailed franchise agreement isn't the same as being someone's employee. Both things can be true at once. Some franchisees in this industry have won real settlements over real control issues. Others are running genuinely independent, profitable businesses under the exact same brand names. The honest takeaway isn't a verdict on any specific company. It's that the fine print in a cleaning franchise agreement, specifically how much operational control it hands the franchisor, deserves a lawyer's eyes before you sign it, not just a sales rep's pitch. The real engine, the one that applies whether you're independent or under a franchise banner, this business is priced by the square foot, and the specialty work is where the real margin lives. So once the buy-in and the franchise question are settled, where does the actual money come from? Square footage and service tier. A basic office cleaning contract commonly prices around 10 cents per square foot per visit. A 10,000 square foot office, a modest mid-size account, works out to roughly $1,000 a visit. Run that nightly or a few times a week across several accounts, and the recurring nature of these contracts is what makes commercial cleaning different from a lot of one-off service businesses on this channel. A signed contract isn't one sale. It's dozens of visits already booked before the year even starts. The real margin expansion happens above general janitorial work. Specialty services, medical facility disinfection, post-construction cleanup, industrial degreasing, floor stripping, and waxing all command premium pricing over standard nightly office cleaning because they require equipment, training, or certifications most competitors don't have. Competitive bidding is the other side of this coin, and it cuts the other way. Commercial contracts, especially larger ones, typically go through a bidding process, and that competition compresses margins on general janitorial work specifically. The operators protecting real profit are usually the ones who've built a mix of steady general contracts and higher margin specialty work, not the ones chasing every bid at the lowest price to win volume. The real money in commercial cleaning. Nightly office janitorial work gets you in the door and pays the bills. Specialty services, the ones bidding wars don't touch as hard, are where an operator builds a margin worth protecting. Put the legal pattern and the real revenue numbers side by side, and the actual lesson comes into focus. A federal appeals court, reviewing one of these major franchise cases, noted on the record that some of the franchisees involved were running businesses earning more than $40,000 a month, roughly $500,000 a year in gross revenue. That's a real, substantial business, operating under the same brand and the same franchise agreement that other franchisees, in the same case, argued was controlling enough to functionally make them employees. The difference wasn't the paperwork. Every franchisee in that dispute signed a similar agreement. The difference was almost certainly how each specific unit was actually run, how much specialty work supplemented general janitorial contracts, and how each owner chose to operate inside the same set of rules. So let's run the two real outcomes. The optimistic case. Whether independent or franchised, you build a mix of steady general contracts and higher margin specialty services, price competitively without racing to the bottom on every bid, and if you do go the franchise route, you have an attorney review the control provisions before signing. Revenue grows toward that $40,000 a month range serious operators report, built on real client relationships and a service mix that isn't entirely dependent on winning the cheapest bid every time. The realistic case. You chase every available bid at the lowest price to build volume fast. Stick entirely to general janitorial work without adding any specialty services. And if you're franchised, you never had the agreement's control provisions reviewed by anyone but the person selling it to you. Margins stay thin because bidding wars are exactly where they're thinnest, revenue growth stalls well below what serious operators in this same industry report. And if a control dispute ever arises, you're negotiating from a position of not having understood the agreement in the first place. Same industry, same recurring contract model. The entire gap between those two outcomes comes down to service mix, and, for franchisees specifically, how carefully the agreement itself was actually read. So is it worth it? If you're picturing a simple, low-drama, recurring revenue business, the underlying demand really does support that. Offices and medical buildings aren't skipping cleaning because of a slow quarter. What's true is that this remains a genuinely accessible business, with a real path to solid income for operators who build a real service mix and, if franchised, understand what they signed. For someone willing to treat specialty services and contract quality as seriously as any other business on this channel treats its central operating number, this can be a durable, recession-resistant business. For someone assuming a franchise fee buys a turnkey business with zero further scrutiny needed, the fine print has already cost other owners real money in real court more than once. Last reminder. This video describes documented legal patterns and industry-wide economics, not a conclusion about any specific company. It is not legal advice. If you're evaluating a specific franchise agreement, have it reviewed by an attorney before you sign. Remember this: the MOP and the contract are the easy part. Whether you're truly your own boss, on paper and in practice, is the question worth real legal attention before you sign anything, not after.